Studio Plum.
And I'm Shaun of Renstead Interiors. We're interior designers
turned internet friends
turned real life friends.
Welcome to the Hot Young Designers Club podcast.
We're not that hot
or that young.
Every week, we'll be spilling the tea on how a new generation of interior designers can run their businesses.
Welcome to the club. Hi guys, it's Rebecca. As you probably can tell by the title of this episode, we have some pretty big news. I've been sitting on this episode for a couple months, just, processing and not forcing myself into any decision or I guess taking on too much without really thinking it through. So stay tuned to the end of the episode. I'll be back to kind of chat through what I've been thinking about and what to expect next. Hi, Shaun.
What's up, Rebecca?
Well, something's up.
Changes. So like I always say, rip off the Band-Aid. This is my last episode with the Hot Young Designers Club.
Yeah. I've had a few weeks to process it, so it's very sad.
It's bittersweet, and for the listeners that have been here from our beginning as our hotties and going through the journey with us, so much of our businesses, and particularly mine, has changed so much in the last year and a half that it's getting harder and harder to ignore responsibilities of Renstead Interiors or to push them into the wee night hours or early morning hours. And it's getting hard to balance all of that for me.
Yeah, it's definitely we are professional jugglers, but I think that something you've taught us from the beginning is how to set firm boundaries and follow through on that. So, that's what you're doing.
Yeah, and I think perspective for listeners who probably don't understand is the podcast for Rebecca and I takes a lot of our energy and effort, and we're so happy to give that into the community and invest that in the community. But it really is, between planning episodes, recording episodes, putting all the content together, and then staying active and involved with it, it is another job. And we've kind of put that energy into it from the beginning.
Yeah, it is definitely another job. And I think we started this in the beginning of the pandemic, literally the day it started, pretty much April 1st, 2020. And it was, I think we needed that side project and that escape and a place to have these water cooler moments and have these conversations when we were so, separated and feeling very alone. And we didn't know what was going to happen with our businesses and this industry. At that time we thought oh shit, this whole industry can just take a tank.
Oh God, yeah.
That didn't happen. So yeah, I feel like my busyness with my business, Studio Plum, has been about the same, but I know things really ramped up for you. And yeah, you're taking the time you need to keep your sanity on track and your health, which is what we talk a lot about.
Yeah, it's a hard place to get to. And if hotties are listening, I know they're probably thinking, oh my gosh, what's happening? Rebecca has plans, and that's a space for you to be able to talk with the hotties about what that looks like and feels like. But for me, it's the transition to move away from that. And Rebecca and I still have our friendship. We still have our kind of OG, we call it the OG Hot Young Designers Club, which was before there was even a podcast. There was this group of designers who were talking and sharing. And I think if that's one of the biggest things to have gained from all of this are these levels of honesty and vulnerability and support, openness with each other. Yeah. And that's not going away. And I've met so many amazing designers who are listeners or we had internet conversations before this and then they went to the podcast. And I think it's just been, for me, a really exciting way to feel like I'm truly part of something. And I think for a lot of our listeners, they feel that same way now. And that doesn't stop at this episode.
No. I mean, to like be completely honest, like as we record this, it's the very end of July, and I'm a believer in not rushing decisions when I
Mhm.
feel a little bit conflicted. So that means right this second, I don't know what is going to happen with the podcast, but I'm giving myself the time between now and when you hear this to make some decisions. So I love being here. I've loved my time with you, and these weekly appointments have kept, things, me feeling connected, but also um, feeling like a responsibility to the industry in a little way and our
Yeah.
businesses. And again, like we'll have these conversations offline, but I'm hoping to have something continue. But
For
I got to be
sure.
honest with myself too, because I do like to take off more than I can chew, take on more than I can chew. So I'm figuring that out.
Yeah, and it's a space and a time. It's not easy for any of us to get to these places, and I think it's like a lot to imagine, and so we just
Yeah,
wanted to make
there's,
sure we had a space to talk about it.
yeah. I mean, something that I'm constantly asking myself as a Enneagram 7 is there's a lot that I want to do, but what should we do? So everyone should be asking themselves that when they're feeling really stressed and overwhelmed and maybe have too much on their plate. Like, can you take something off your plate?
It me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm to the hotties. Thank you for having me as part of your design career journey. And thank you for listening to our crazy advice and my boundary thoughts or the shady girl moments and
drag
and
your drag queen
and
convos.
yeah, Jill, I know you'll really miss the RuPaul's Drag Race references.
I will.
And
I will.
um well, I mean, I'm still going to be promoting that in our separate Marco Polo chats, but that's a whole other. And we're still going to see, I'm still going to be we're all still traveling together with our group of hotties to High Point in October, which will not be long
Yay.
after this comes out. So the journey still continues. It's just going to take a different format for me. Um and yeah, I think my main goal is to try to find a way to work less on weekends, work less on evenings or early mornings, and find a way to bring some. I don't know if balance isn't a real thing. I feel like our lives
Mhm.
go through ebbs and flows, and it's about balance in the long term, not about every day. So I recognize that there's limitations to that, but I'm on this journey to try to find a way to make that sustainable. And I think that our listeners can also look back on some of that and see even our own growth and changes in our thought processes and all of that in a year and a half.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully everyone's felt some growth in some way or another. And
I'm
sometimes
excited
it's
to cheer on.
downsizing.
Yeah,
Sometimes
and
growth means downsizing.
for sure. And I'm excited to listen in to the next phases of where Hot Young Designers Club goes and be a cheerleader for Rebecca and the hotties. So, I'm still part of that and wanting to be a OG member of the Hot Young Designers
Well,
Club.
you
So
are an OG member. You have the t-shirt. You're the only one
I've
with the
got
t-shirt.
we are a very exclusive t-shirt club, that's for sure. But maybe that's in the next steps, that there's a way to do that, and I won't commit you to t-shirt
Okay,
distribution.
thank you.
So
KIT, KIT.
yeah. Thank you, Rebecca, and thank you to the hotties.
Thank you, Shaun, for your wisdom. I'm still gonna tap you for ideas.
We're here to keep building that sense of community over competition, and that's not going to go away, outside of the podcast.
Right.
So
Well, you can follow Shaun at Renstead Interiors.
Yeah, you can still find me, follow along with the adventures.
If you miss that sassiness, you better be subscribing to his reels because there's some, yeah.
All the shade is in the reels.
It's a real.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shaun. I'm going to miss your face here.
I'm going to miss yo face on a podcast.
Well, we get to see each other's face.
Over the air. Exactly. So one last, until next time.
Stay hot, designers. Okay, so now you have the tea. I guess I just wanted to pop back on and let you guys know that I'm just hoping you can stay tuned. Don't unsubscribe if you follow us on iTunes. I really think I'm going to come back. I just need a minute. So a few things I'm figuring out. I'm really needing to figure out how to streamline the process here and cover costs. Right now, just to lift the curtain a little bit, I have been doing all of the production, so all the editing, mixing, uploading, and then Shaun's been handling all of the show notes and the social media and all that kind of stuff. So what I was doing already with the editing was just kind of a lot. I am somebody who likes to know how to do things, so I'm glad I learned, but now I feel happy to hand that off. So, but that costs money, so I need to just figure that out. And as far as everything else, part of what my hesitation has been is, as this was all happening, I was also in the process of opening a little by appointment only showroom with our friend Claire. I should say we've been signing a lease and getting it activated. We finally announced what we're doing, although it is nowhere near open, and that's going to take a few months. But you can follow us at itshappyhour.co on Instagram if you're interested. So it's only semi-related because it's my bandwidth, and I've just been trying to figure out what exactly I can take on, how all these things can feed each other, and not just be me wanting to do fun things at the detriment of my health, my business, my family. So I actually have some pretty good ideas on how to handle that, but it's just going to take me some time to implement. So what I am asking from you is, again, just don't unsubscribe until I come back and say exactly what I'm going to do. It could be in the new year, so just hold tight until we pop back up into your feed again. I'm putting together an email survey to get some feedback and just find out the best course of action that's going to benefit you all. If you want to be involved in that, I would love it if you signed up for our newsletter. You can do that on our website, hotyoungdesignersclub.com, or in the Instagram bio. What else? I think that's it. I just want to reiterate, Shaun and I are good. We're totally great. We're going to High Point together in a couple weeks. So if you're going to be there, please come say hi. We still love to meet all you hotties. You'll always be our hotties. I'm here to answer any questions. DM me on Instagram or email me. I'm an open book. So hope you guys are hanging in there. It's a wacky, wacky world out there for us. So thank you for supporting us, and I'll be back. Thanks for joining this meeting of the Hot Young Designers Club podcast.
If you liked what you heard, please subscribe and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Check out the show notes there for links to things we talked about today.
We are keeping the conversation going on Instagram, so don't forget to like, comment, and follow at Hot Young Designers Club.
You can find Rebecca on Instagram at Studio Plum.
And you can find Shaun at Renstead Interiors. That's WRENSTED.